Welcome to Tush Twins, two
Hello.
ladies who have been friends since I think it was before World War One.
Probably. I
Heard,
don't know.
And I really look very good.
heard on
You
Malcolm.
look great for World War
Presents.com.
One. 1, 2, and
Dude.
3. But yeah, I'm gonna intro this because we're having a fun show today.
Okay, you intro it, Max.
I will just say, because again, until we can drop this in, you know, we're gonna do a plea later in the show, just like Soupy Sales did. So move over, Lucy and Ethel, Laverne, Shirley, Thelma and Louise, Betty and Wilma, and so many more. Here come the
Tush
Twins. With tales of friendship from Brooklyn and beyond, Maxine Faith and Paula Rose will bring you through their 60-plus years of friendship with levity, hee-hee, drama, boo-doo-doo, joy, woo-hoo-hoo, and unabashed love. Love, 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 love. And it's coming up on Valentine's soon, too. So I guess I have to send you a Valentine.
Yeah.
From Brighton to Coney, New York City to the burbs, and out to the whole wide world, we have been through it all, and we will take you through our journey. We know each other so long and so well. Our atomic particles have been joined at the tush. The tush. So we hope you enjoy our tales, pun intended. So thinking. There's always so much to talk about, but I said to the redhead, what do we do this week? And then she got back to me. And what did you say?
I said our favorite old TV shows.
That's right.
That was our parents' babysitters.
Right. Sit in front of the TV, give them some junk food, and you're in business. You know, that was it.
What was the first show you remember? Number one.
Bugs Bunny.
I mean, I remember.
That's all, folks.
I remember Disney.
Cartoons.
I remember Disney.
Yes.
And it was originally in black and white, and then it was the Carousel of Color.
Well,
And I was lucky enough. Right. The world is a carousel of color. Wonderful,
wonderful color.
Right. So, and then, it was the Dash. Tinkerbell came out and she did a dash of color on, there were the 3 primary colors. And while most people in my neighborhood had not yet had a color television, we were lucky enough to have a color television. So people were kind of like, there used to be stories about people looking in people's windows to watch television.
I used to come on Sunday to watch.
Right.
World
And
Disney
when
with you.
right. And when, people would be by the window looking in to see the Carousel of Color because we had color.
It was kind of difficult in my apartment house because I was on the first floor.
Well, I always lived.
You had to have a ladder.
I always lived in a house.
Yes, you did.
Except when I was married, I lived in, a co-op and 2 co-ops, which were apartment buildings. But I've been in this house over 30 years.
You know why they call Milton Berle Mr. Television? Because when he had the show, people would stand in front of the windows of the stores. They used to put
they did.
wine
Right.
stores on. And in
Right.
my house, in my apartment house, I think there were 56 units.
Yeah.
Second or third television. And on Tuesday night, my mother would put bridge chairs up in a row so the neighbors could come in and watch the Milton Berle show.
That's crazy because, I remember, I Love Lucy. I remember.
I Love Lucy was my favorite regular
I,
TV show
right,
as a kid.
But there was, a lot originally. I remember, Leave It to Beaver, Ozzie and Harriet. Those
Harriet.
were.
Oh, I was in love with Ricky Nelson.
Right, Ricky Nelson.
And the rest of the teenagers out there.
Yes.
Just a gorgeous.
Teenage women.
Gorgeous. And of course, Leave It to Beaver, and of course, jokes about Leave It to Beaver.
We won't talk about that. This is
There's a joke. There's a joke on Leave It to Beaver, and it sort of goes like, Mrs. Cleaver said to Mr. Cleaver, last night was fun, but you were a little hard on the beaver.
Of course, our audience won't understand.
my dad.
I know, but I remember that. I don't know who told it to me, but there was a lot. I mean, we both of us, I think, caught kind of the end of Howdy Doody. It was like towards the end.
My
and then it was
brother,
like,
yes.
No,
yeah, Phil,
I was a heavy
probably
duty.
you're a Howdy Doody guy, right?
Yeah.
And
We
so
were Sandy Becker,
right with Sandy Becker, we
Sonny
were
Fox.
Captain Kangaroo.
Da, 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 da.
Bob Keeshan, who played Captain Kangaroo,
Yes,
was
yes.
the original Clarabelle.
Clarabelle, yep.
On, How to
Right,
Do Your
right.
Show.
Yep.
And then Chuck McCann and
And
Soupy Sales, and of course Sonny Fox.
Fox,
Sonny
You-
Fox,
you
Wonderama.
realize-
Wonderama, and
My first job when I graduated college, I worked, this was 1965. I worked on WNEW TV,
mhm.
and eventually I was the prop man for all these shows. Non-union.
Oh, cool.
I would get the pies for Soupy. I'd get
Oh, cool.
I get the blank guns for the sound effects guy, which the story is I didn't realize that when they threw the pie in Soupy's face,
Yeah.
the sound effects guy shot a blank gun up in the air.
Oh,
That's scary.
It's scary if you don't know it, because I think the first week I was on the set and I'm standing in front of the sound effects guy. They throw the pie in the face and he shoots the gun, and I almost jumped into Soupy's arms.
Really?
oh my God.
That's scary, actually. If they see, there's things on the sets, they still today, unfortunately,
Well, that's what happened.
things happen, but yeah, that would scare me, because it's shocking if you don't know it's coming. You think
And
it's an actual gunshot or something. I don't know.
And
But I
I-
guess
there-
I was used to that because I watched Westerns, so guns didn't bother me.
Wait, but you're just so freaking weird. What kid watched all these Westerns? like
I
you
watched
did?
from the day I was watching TV. I watched the comedies, of course. I love
Because
Lucy.
your dad.
My
right?
dad loved Westerns, and he
Right.
sat me in front of the TV. The Have Gun Will Travel,
Mhm.
Wagon Train.
Trouble is a song.
I love
and
What?
Yes. Paladin.
Paladin.
Paladin. Oh,
Paladin.
And I watched Fury. I love
Fury. How about my
Yes.
friend
My
Flicker?
friend Flicker. Yes, I watched that. And
I
Penny and Sky King and Penny.
God.
watched Bonanza with my dad, and my
Hold on.
family watched Bonanza. We all sat around. It was on a Sunday, I think.
Oh, thank you. Oh, wait. Okay, here's one thing we have to mention, because Dennis came out special because he's listening to us. He goes, what about our favorite show as a kid? MICKEY
Right.
MOUSE.
Yeah, Musketeers. Yeah, I was gonna mention that, but wasn't quite in the
That was in
the
my
Western
top, because
genre. But the
No, because I
Musketeers,
watched
yes.
Zorro. Because
Right.
Zorro was my first serial that I love. Zorro, Guy Williams.
Guy Williams.
I love that.
Did you
Well,
ever
then,
see
of course,
movie
there's the
with-
Lone Ranger, right?
Yes, I watched The Lone
The
Ranger.
Lone Ranger had the greatest voice.
Really?
Yes, he
you
did.
always-
Clayton
you
Moore.
Right.
Clayton Moore. Oh, I
Clayton
was.
Moore, and then of course Superman.
Yes,
Superman
that was my brother's favorite.
That was a big one, I think.
Well,
Superman.
yeah, well, Superman was. We used to play, in the spring and the summertime. We used to play punch bowl in the street,
Yes,
Mhm.
we did
and,
that.
and generally Superman on was like about 5, 6 o'clock, and someone would call, "Superman's on." Everybody, we took
Cleared
time out.
out. Yeah, sure. I mean, we used to watch, in the 60s, the Batman, the original series, the
Series,
campy
yes.
one.
It
That was
fun.
That was fun. It was
I
like
was never a
around
Batman.
the same time as Laugh-In, around
And the monkeys.
hey, we're the monkeys. We're going all over the place.
But my
there's
favorite
so-
show, though, back then, way back, was my favorite kids show was Andy Devine show.
Yeah,
I got a gang, you got a gang,
I didn't
everybody
really.
else. And he goes, clank your magic twanger, froggy.
He had such a graveled voice.
I
Mhm.
love that show. That
Yeah,
was like
Andy
one of my
Devine,
favorite shows.
I would
He used to
sometimes.
play something with the Sabu. Was that the Andy Devine show? He would Sabu,
Yes.
the elephant boy.
Some,
No,
I'm not
I
quite
don't
sure. I mean,
remember.
the ones I remember, because it was kind of like a babysitter, my grandma would, let me watch certain shows, and it would always be like, again, Leave It to Beaver and Ozzie and Harriet. And then of course, the other shows like Dr. Kildare. Do we now have a crush on him?
Oh
Which is
my
why we
God.
thought our Ken dolls were Dr. Kildare. And then when we took the pants down, it was
It
no
wasn't-
boner.
no boner.
It's like, I don't know.
I just loved, oh my God, I loved him.
Yeah.
Richard,
Yeah.
he was so gorgeous.
Yeah.
And he still is. He's old. Is he still alive?
The other guys like him.
I don't know.
I
The
know,
other guys
I know.
apparently did like him. I guess
But I
maybe
loved
Rock
him in the
Hudson liked him. Who knows?
Thornbirds.
No, he was a great actor.
He was
Yeah, yeah.
phenomenal and gorgeous. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then there was other doctors, like Dr. Welby,
Dr.
MD.
Dr. Ben Casey.
Dr. Ben Casey.
Vince Edwards.
Yeah,
I loved
He
him.
was a good looking guy too.
He's very handsome.
And these were all the the shows that now go through the years that other shows have.
What was
seen.
the original Doctor show? Was it The Doctors?
The Doctors, yes, that was a soap opera.
The Eye of an Eagle.
And then there was soap opera. I never watched the soap operas, but
I didn't watch
in the
those.
late 60s, early 70s, I mean, college years, yeah, that was a big thing.
Well, I
remember
watched
people-
All My Children.
Yeah, there were, I remember in college, like if there was a break and All My Children or something was on, everyone
Yeah.
would be in the break room with the TV having like some lunch or
I'm
something.
a little older than you. Actually, I'm a lot older than you when it comes to TV. But when I used to come home from school, on lunch hour, I lived a block away from PS 188. My mother used to watch the soap operas, and they were 15 minutes long.
So they were like telenovelas
They were
almost.
15 minutes, so you had two soap operas in a half hour.
Mhm.
And I
Well,
remember the number one at 12 o'clock was something called The Egg and I, which they eventually did. It was based on a movie.
The Egg and I.
The Egg
What
and
the
I
heck?
was a movie with Claudette Colbert and Fred McMurray.
Right.
And it was about actually it was a little like Green Acres. It was a city couple moving to a farm.
It's like Green Acres.
Yeah.
We forgot that. Green Acres is the place.
That's my
And
life story.
Gilligan.
That's my life
Island.
story. Green
Gilligan's
Acres.
Island, I Dream of Jeannie, all those. They were like,
They were great shows. I
and
love I
the
Dream of
Flying
Jeannie.
Nun,
Nun. I love that.
Sister Bertrill flying around in her little nun cap.
Sally
Sally
Fields.
Fields.
She would never be a serious actress.
Right. They really love you, really love me. She won an Academy Award, Miss
won two.
Flying
Yeah, she
Nun.
did.
She won two
So-
Academy Awards, didn't she?
Might be two. I got it. I would have to check that. But then I used to sneak. I'm a late owl. I don't go to sleep till like 1:30. Honestly,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't get any sleep. It's okay. But I remember even as a kid, like my parents would watch first, the predecessors to Carson, Jack Parr,
Yes.
Steve Allen,
I remember those as a kid.
and those shows. And I would sometimes my parents wouldn't know. I would like keep the crack of the door open a little bit, and I would stand there watching his monologue until finally my parents got me a television set in my room.
Yes.
But my dad got me a timer because he knew right there, it was.
Maybe I'm getting too old, but there's no one to compare to Johnny Carson.
Johnny Carson was the best.
I think if I had to pick the best late night that I've seen in my lifetime, I think Johnny Carson is it.
Yeah,
There was
me
something
too.
about him, the way he was able to handle the show, his swagger, his little bit of arrogance, but his brilliance all at the same time.
Yeah.
He knew how to handle a guest. He knew how to handle a segment. He knew how to get through the Slauson cutoff. You remember Sepulveda and the Slauson cutoff?
That's yeah.
And he would do Karnak, and then he would do that. He would do all these
I
bits.
still
that
think every time. In fact, I was coming home from Laguna Beach the other day, and we passed the Slauson Avenue cutoff.
Right, that's what I'm
Oh.
saying. And then you go to the Slauson cutoff, and then
Avenue.
it was, he cracked me up. And
It was
I mean,
funny.
even what?
We saw him in Vegas. He was
We saw him
hysterical.
in Vegas. Actually, we actually saw his comedy bit in Las Vegas. How many
And
people?
do you remember who opened for him?
No, who? I don't remember.
Manhattan Transfer.
Oh, right. And then, yes, and later we emulated them too.
Yeah.
We were talking about
That's
it
still
earlier. Didn't Ernie Kovacs have a show, late night show?
I remember
know
Ernie
about-
Kovacs a late after, he had an
I-
afternoon show when I
I
was a
don't
kid.
know. I know he was part of your show of shows at some point.
I don't
But then
Then he
remember.
had
the
his own
Ernie-
show.
The Ernie Kovacs show.
Yeah, but
which-
the show of shows was Sid Caesar.
So I know,
Yes.
but I think Kovacs, I don't know if he wrote it because Mel
Mm,
Brooks wrote for
Brooks.
that. Woody
Paul
Allen
Reiner.
wrote for that. I mean,
Reiner.
all these amazing, comedians and comic writers wrote for that show. I think he might have, but I'm not totally sure. Ernie Kovacs, though.
Caesar had,
But he had his own show. He had his
Yes,
wife was on the
yes.
show. Cigars, cigarettes, Tibarillos.
Edie Adams.
Edie Adams.
Edie Adams.
And I mean, if people can get a hold of Ernie Kovacs on YouTube or somewhere, like I
Watch
highly suggest it. He was so ahead of his time with his comedy.
Oh, I
And
used
you
to love
know
him.
that a lot of the comedians just grabbed and copied
Da
his
da
stuff.
da da. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. do.
But-
Yeah,
but
that was
it
from his show.
It was amazing. We were talking earlier. The Sid Caesar show was
Yes.
a
Right.
weekly show, 90 minutes live.
Yes,
And
I
Imogen
know.
Coca and
Paul Reiner.
or Carl Reiner, Imogen
Reiner.
Coca, was
Mel
it
Brooks.
Morris, Ernie Morris, something?
Howard
Mm.
Howie Morris.
Howard Morris.
Harry Morris.
Right, he was on the show. And then, of course, all the comedies that we used to watch, I Love Lucy, Dick Van Dyke. And then, of course, there's Jack Benny, Ed Sullivan, Jerry Lewis, Dean
And
Martin, George
Love the
Burns.
Jack Benny show. And I
Carol
love George
Burnett.
Burns show.
Yeah, Dean Martin show. I mean, and then we grew up like in the mid 60s, or I think was kind of towards later 60s when we were in middle school, junior high. Laugh-In was a big thing.
Big time.
Laugh-In was the thing. It was.
Do you know what Laugh-In took over? It was canceled because of Laugh-In?
What?
Which
No, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was on and Laugh-In
Oh.
took their time slot.
the man from U.N.C.L.E., Ilya Kuryakin. I
Kuryakin.
loved him.
I
I
love
had a
Robert
crush on him. I liked
love-
blonde guys for some reason.
I know
when
you
was
did, but I like
younger.
Robert Bourne because he
He's
was
still
in
acting
the,
on NCIS. David McCallum.
David
yes, he's still
McCallum.
there.
Yeah,
He's
on
still in.
NCIS.
I mean, I used to like Flipper
I
because
know
of
you,
Luke
Luke
Halpern.
Halpern.
Now, Luke Halpern went to school, the professional children's school. He was in my brother Mitch's class, and that was a very interesting class.
Speaking of Flipper, how about Sea Hunt?
Oh, I
Let's-
love
Let's do-
Sea Hunt. I
Right.
used to be a tour guide at NBC, and one of my things was I would take them to Studio 8H, and I would tell everyone, because I made all the stuff up in my head. I tell everyone, this was a studio where they filled with water, and this is where they filmed Sea Hunt, and they believed me.
Oh God, I'm so glad you're telling them now. Hey, everybody, you were lied to.
Can you imagine? There's this 80-year-old woman who's watching the show, and she said, I told everybody she lied to me.
Right, see how it was done in the A Studio 8H.
It's done in Miami. Where was it done? Miami?
No,
I
it was
don't
in
know.
LA.
In LA.
It was done in
Well,
LA.
all I know is people actually believe me.
Oh God, I can't even imagine what you told some of these
I know.
people.
Oh, you have no idea.
I
I used to
don't
be in the
know.
sound effects.
Lloyd Bridges'
I know.
son, they did their debuts on there. Bo
Right,
Bridges.
They did.
the bridges, right.
Yeah.
And then of course there were music shows like American Bandstand, and
Dick
Token
Clark.
Bros did that show. And I was telling Malcolm earlier about one of the infamous lines that made it
Oh, it's
family
one of the
lore.
funniest.
when Dick Clark asked, Mitch, are you related to anyone? Because he knew, obviously. And then Mitch,
Because Dick Clark said, "Oh, I'm Italian, and you're Margos. It sounds like you're Italian. Are you Italian?" And what
no.
did Mitchell say?
Well, Mitchell basically said, well, he intimated, Dick Clark did, that, they're related, that you're related to someone in the group. And then Mitch goes, yeah, us two are brothers. Us two are brothers.
I saw that live on TV.
And right, we saw it, and I was laughing, and it's like, yeah. And then I went, "Those are my brothers. Those are my brothers." and then Brooklyn accent just comes through. I mean, you either
No, my
have an accent.
favorite show of all time, two favorite shows besides Lucy, but dramas, is The Virginian with James Drury and Doug
Right,
McClure, and
right,
Dallas.
right. There was Dallas. That was
Dallas
a big
was
one.
one of my favorite all-time shows. But The Virginian, I've watched it over and over again.
Right.
But
So,
it's a Western.
yeah. Well,
Gunsmoke.
you and your westerns.
The
How about
Zane Grey Theater.
Zane
Oh
Grey
my
Theater.
God.
how
Oh
about
my God.
what about the real McCoys?
A little,
that
little
considered
hey.
Pepina, little Luke, Pepina, little Luke, and then
Walter
it
Brennan.
was. I wouldn't know if this is considered the Western, but F Troop. So,
I loved F True.
so
Baloo.
yeah, I used to watch that with my dad. It was like such a thing.
No, F Troop. I was watching it and the TV went off because we had a blackout. So I was not upset about the blackout. It was 1960, that big blackout we had, 65.
66.
60. Let me tell you, F Troop was off the air and everything. I was more upset because I was missing F Troop than the freaking blackout.
Yeah, well, we were kids. We let our parents worry about that. We didn't worry about anything.
I was working at Channel 5 at the time, and it was like just when we were getting out.
Oh,
It was like about 5:30 or so.
yeah.
So I walk out into this, and we were on 66 and 3rd Avenue. Just as I get out to the street, it looked like a war zone. There were no lights.
Lights,
Right.
yeah.
It was dark,
and
they
people
had
could get on.
and they
couldn't
called out
take
the National
subway.
Guard because we didn't know what the
And
problem.
those subways, yeah.
Yeah,
And we had soldiers directing traffic, because there
Yeah.
were no red lights.
yeah. I remember the headlines about it. I know we didn't have light, but it kind of didn't bother me as much as probably our parents.
Well, because we
Yeah,
live
about
by the
10
beach. It was the
minutes.
summertime, so we just went to the beach. It was
Well, I don't know what date that was. I don't.
It
remember
was in the summertime.
It was in I think it's 66.
Yeah.
Was it 66? I don't know.
I think it was a little younger, 65. I'm not sure.
I don't know. We'd have to look it up.
65.
I don't know.
But anyway,
But-
I wind up. I was walking this temporary secretary home. She was afraid. She was from out of town, and she was staying in the Martha Washington Hotel
oh, I remember.
on 23rd Street. So that was an all-girls hotel,
Yeah.
and so I was invited to pajama parties there. They were all like out in the halls, and I met this girl, Aurea Essicotojovet. I don't know how I remember that name.
Well,
She was a
get the
student.
blackout, but I'll pick up the blackout here. It says at dusk on November 9th. So it was
Oh, it's November, so all right.
1965 at
65. I thought it was 65.
one of the biggest power failures in history occurs as all of New York State, portions of 7 nearby states, and parts of Eastern Canada were plunged into darkness.
Well, it wasn't the darkness. It was that they didn't know what it was, and this was our time. We were in the Cold War with Russia,
Right,
and we
right,
didn't know whether we were being attacked.
right. That was the,
That
and then
the
there
first-
was the blackout in 1977. That was July. That was the summer.
That was July. That was the summer one. That's
That
right.
was July 13th. That was like a month before my wedding. And
Yeah.
I blamed it on Les. He was fixing something, right?
Yes.
And then I went in the shower and then the lights went out. And I said, what the hell did you just do? And then when we went out, the whole block was out. So we knew
Guys,
something
we're
was
getting
off.
off our topic of television.
That's true.
Okay, so
what
here's
about- what
my
about
show. I have another one. The Roy Rogers Show.
Roy Rogers.
Happy trails to you.
Oh, yeah.
Until we
meet
meet again.
Dale Evans, right?
Yep, Roy Rogers and
So,
Dale Evans
but
and the Lone
then-
Ranger.
We
The
we
Lone
got-
Ranger, yeah.
the Lone Ranger. We
Wild
kind of-
Wild West.
That was
Yeah,
Bob
I
Robert Cutler.
Love
love
that.
That was a
I
great movie.
love
That was a
Wild
great
Wild
scene.
West.
One of my favorites, the Life and Legends of Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous.
You're so weird. You're just okay. So we're getting off
Zorro.
we're getting off westerns now. That's it.
But that's my
You
favorite TV
had your
shows.
Western time.
Sugarfoot.
Sugarfoot.
Cartoons.
Okay.
What was the one-
Cartoons.
Cartoons.
Now, what was one of the
Okay.
favorite- now, what-
Crusader Rabbit.
Remember Maverick?
Yes,
Thank you,
I
Barb.
love Maverick.
She
I love-
loves
I watched her.
anything.
I watched every single series.
What about the Rifleman? Did we?
I'm
mention
watching that again.
Yeah,
The
that's on-
Rifleman?
Yes,
it's
I'm
on-
watching that. And 26 Men.
You're just
The Big
you're weird.
Valley.
no.
26 Men?
Yes.
I
That
don't
I-
know that. I don't know. any of that.
Cheyenne
Oh, Cheyenne.
with Clint Walker.
Nope. I stop at Bonanza.
Bonanza guy, I stopped watching, but Wagon Train, I love.
Wagon-
I'm watching that over again.
Wagon Train is still on. It's
Yeah, it's.
I on TV.
I'm watching
Well,
it.
Well, one of my favorites
But cartoons.
in the cartoons,
Max. What's your
I'm gonna
favorite
have to
cartoon?
say one of my favorites was Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yes.
And they also, the Bullwinkle show had Dudley Do-Right, Peabody,
Hello.
right, and
And
Nell.
Fractured Fairy Tales.
Fractured Fairy Tales.
Which
That
are the
was like a
best.
freaking amazing show. And it just was one of my favorites. And then I mean, I would love
To
to
this day.
the Saturday that Hanna-Barbera had all the
Yeah.
shows, they had all these shows.
Huckleberry Hound.
Right. And then, was it Droopy Dog? Droopy
Droopy Dog.
Droopy Dog or something.
Daddy Doggy and Augie Doggy.
Augie Doggy and Doggy Daddy.
Daddy.
Going back.
And
on
then of
Channel
course
13.
there were the Flintstones, which was,
The Honeymooners.
it was the Honeymooners. It was cavemen doing, more modern stuff.
Honeymoon.
I mean, caveman driving cars, even though they use their feet and
The feet.
and going to the movies.
And the Jetsons.
Jetsons.
The Jetsons. There are things in the Jetsons that were doing today. The
Yeah.
flat screen TVs, like
TVs.
computers, robots. What was her
Rosie
name
the
again?
robot,
Rosie
Rosie.
the robot. It's just like
George.
George.
The dog.
Yeah.
Right, George.
Right, George. What's up, George? George. And then not a cartoon, but in terms of shows that everyone loved, Star Trek. That is live long and prosper.
Yeah, Star Trek only I think had what was it 2 years and they were dropped.
3 seasons. 3 seasons.
I think it was 2 or 3 seasons, and then it was
Yeah.
And then,
I'm
and
a
then
I'm a
it
trekker.
became-
Right.
then it became syndicated.
Yes.
and then there was the Yogi Bear show. Boo Boo.
Yogi.
Picking it
Never
back.
do.
Hey, boo.
And Snagglepuss.
What's exit stage? What?
And the Cowardly Lion. The Snagglepuss. There was just so much.
How did you guys get through school when you're watching TV so much?
It was Saturday morning.
Saturday.
A lot of it was Saturday morning, and like
Bugs Bunny was my favorite.
Looney Tunes. That
Looney
had to
Tunes are
be
my favorite.
the Bugs
Especially
Bunny
when it
show.
became on prime time with the Bugs Bunny show. Overture.
Third
the
night.
lights.
This is it, the night
The
of
night
nights.
tonight.
No more rehearsing,
We're
rehearsing apart.
rehearsing
We know
apart.
every part
Oh,
by
every
heart.
part by heart.
Right. and then the commercial, and then of course, like they sold us everything. Every sugary breakfast cereal was on there, and you were sitting watching the Saturday
And my-
morning shows, and you would have a box of
I
whatever.
want my maple.
But you would have your Fruit Loops and Lucky Charms, and everything as sweet can be, and the milk would turn into the,
Color
they
of
actually
the
have
cereal.
actually have places in New York City where they have like
Cereal bars.
cereal bars, and
Yeah.
and it's frozen it tastes supposed to taste like cereal, that the milk from the cereal. Not a
No,
fan.
thank you. Not a
I'm
fan.
not, So who was your favorite Looney Tune?
Mine, of course, is Bugs Bunny, but Dennis's was the Taz.
Oh,
Why for you put me in the cocoa ground?
the Taz was one of my favorites. I liked
Like-
Sylvester. I liked
I
Elmer
like
Fudd.
Daffy Duck. Mine, me,
Daffy.
me.
I love when Daffy went to Mars, and what was the Martian?
Marvin the Martian.
Marvin the Martian. That was always,
Yeah, there was
Open sesame,
Mm.
there
open
was I think it was Daffy
Saskatchewan.
Duck, which I still do today. And like he was married, and everything he did with his wife was yes, my love.
yes,
Yes,
yes, my love.
I was doing that for
and-
years with my girlfriend. Yes, my love. Yes,
I
my
used to like Johnny Quest because
I know you did.
They went. I thought, I mean, you can't have a crush on a cartoon, but he was kind of cute for a cartoon guy. That shows you how weird I am.
Mhm.
Again, blonde hair.
Fast
But I
forward-
still like the Mickey Mouse show because of Jimmy Dodd and Roy.
I used to
But
like
I love the
Spin and Marty.
cereals.
Remember Spin and
Spin
Marty?
and Marty, that's what I was gonna say. Spin and Marty.
Moochie.
And Moochie
Yeah,
and Ed Funicello.
right.
I loved all that. And Zorro. And then he had David, Daniel
Bobby.
Boone.
I'm Annette.
Daniel Boone, Fess Parker.
Daniel
Yes.
Boone was a man.
Was a big man.
Buddy Epson was on that also.
Yes, he was.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah,
Yes.
Buddy
well, we
Epson.
s-
Buddy Epson.
I never liked the Beverly Hillbillies. I don't
Green
know.
Acres.
Oh, I did.
I didn't
Green
like
Oh, I
it.
Acres,
used to watch
loved all
that. Show. That was
Beverly
that
Hillbillies.
was-
I used to
Anyway,
want to have a cement pond.
yeah, we
anyway,
all wish
guys,
we
do you
did.
realize our half hour is up?
Oh.
Well,
What
we
we're
have
gonna-
to
we're going-
mention.
We can
we
do a
have to
part two,
mention,
part three, part four.
Well,
we have to
next time
mention
we're gonna
Pink-
mention the 70s.
We have to mention
80s.
Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Dead ant. Dead ant. Dead ant. Dead ant.
Dead
Dead
end,
ant.
dead end, dead
Dead
end,
ant.
dead
Dead
end.
ant.
Is that a TV show?
Yes, he had a Pink Panther TV
Yeah,
show.
Pink
Yes.
Panther.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah,
the
it was-
I
Pack.
remember the movie with Peter Sellers.
Yeah,
no,
but
no,
he had
this was a cartoon.
No,
yes, it was by DPATH, D-E, then P-A-T-H-E.
I
The
might.
company.
Well, since I'm older than you, I might have been out of my diapers by the time that was on.
Yeah.
And I love
Anyway,
Crusader
guys,
Rabbit.
And
compile your list, and then
Scooby Doo. Where
then we'll
are
do-
you?
then we'll do adult shows that you liked,
Yeah. Well,
because it's
yeah,
a whole series.
when- there's
Okay,
too
my
many.
adult shows, the Westerns.
I still,
Westerns.
adult shows. I mean, I don't know what adult shows I watched other than the ones that I kind of mentioned. I didn't really watch dramas.
And then we
Yeah,
have
I
the
do.
question: do you watch any television shows now? I mean, regular television
Yeah.
network.
Not
Not
too many. Although we did tape the new Wonder Years,
It's very good.
and I have to tell you,
It's excellent.
is a
Dewey Hill
wonderful
is
sh-
wonderful.
I was so surprised because I was curious, right?
Mhm.
They, Don Cheadle is the, narrator. The
It's
cast
an
is
excellent show.
perfect, and it touches everything. It touches, the experience in the 60s of a Black family in the South, and all that they went through, and who, really a fine job of a network TV
Yeah.
show.
Did you ever see a movie called Nothing But a Man with
No.
Ivan Nixon?
No.
No.
Watching that movie because it goes through like a black couple going through the South, trying to
Right.
survive.
Yeah, well, anyway,
You dig
that to me, that current show now is like, in terms of
Excellent.
a network show, I'd put it way up there. And then, of course, there's so much streaming, but I'm a major Ted Lasso fan.
And anyway, Max, this is our long goodbye. Say goodbye.
Shalom.
All right, well, catch us on malcolmpresents.com
Say
and
goodbye,
catch us
Gracie.
on, I think we need to do a Facebook page or a TikTok or something. We're
We're
gonna
gonna
have
get
to
together and do it.
If any of you guys out there know marketing, social media, the social network, let us know. Contact us Because
Yep.
we need a marketing
We
person.
need to get a social digital person who knows like how to do all this.
And they could be in grade school, because I think the 6-year-olds.
No, I don't think so.
Know
They
more
know
about.
more than us.
My cutoff would be high school.
No.
but-
I'll take 7th and 8th grade.
No,
Okay.
'Cause
you don't want to.
They grew up on computers.
Hold on. You dealt with boy 7th, 8th graders, right? You know what that's about. I have. No.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Ciao.
Maine.
Happy streaming TV.
And happy Valentine's Day. Bye.
Oh yeah.
Valentine's.
Next week we'll have to do a VD show.
A VD show, right? Bye.